Hey everyone, I just wanted to quickly go over some of the new Musa buffs that we've got in the past couple weeks, along with the new changes to skill add-ons. Now, I'm not really going to talk about the PvE changes that we got. Basically, we just got some additional hits and more damage across a couple of our skills, which is great. Not really much else needs to be said about that. Some of the bigger changes are going to be on our Shift Q, Musa's Resolve. This has a 10 AP. This is a really good change. So now we can get a pretty good AP buff in Awake that you can use in like PvE or open world, uncapped PvP, whatever it may be. We did have this buff on Gale, but that required you to go into pre-Awake and use Gale, obviously, to receive that AP buff of 10. So it's not something a lot of Awake Musas would do. They wouldn't go out of their way to really get that buff. It was a lot of work. But now you just have Shift Q. So from Awake, you can just Shift Q. Don't have to hit a target, and you're just going to receive the 10 AP buff. Along with that, we got a change to Pyrostorm, or Below the Belt, the old name, which I wish they'd bring back. Regardless, you have 20 DP on this now. Before, we would use Rising Storm all the time for 20 DP. And I will probably continue to use Rising Storm just out of, muscle memory. And for pre-engages, you're probably going to want to keep using it regardless. You're not going to want to put Pyrostorm on cooldown, which is an 8-second CD, and probably your core trade skill, one of them at least. You're not really going to want to blow that before you go into a group of people to engage. So when you pre-engage now, you definitely want to use Shift Q whenever you can. If you're anywhere outside of cat PvP where that 10 AP is going to give you some kind of benefit. So from my Musa guide, I have different pre-buffs you can do in there, so you can still do all your different skills that are going to give you buffs, right? And then engage your target. So generally, like I said, I'm still going to be using Rising Storm from pre-wake just because it makes sense to not put one of my core skills on CD. So I'll probably still start with Shift X, the Rebomb, so that I can get Magic DP, and then Shift Q, and then go into Awake with my Crosscut, and then my Spinner, and then my Eradicate, Shift Q, and then I have all these buffs up. Now obviously you can do it a lot faster than that, but that's going to give you all the buffs you need to engage a target. So getting into add-ons here, finally after all these years we can put T3 add-ons onto other skills. For the longest time, Musa was pretty much locked into just Crust Crusher as a Wake T3 add-on slot, but now we can put these T3 add-ons onto any skill that we want to. The only thing that's going to change up on some skills is the duration of the add-ons, and I'm pretty sure it's just based upon the cooldown of the skill. But as you can see here, I have a 5-second duration for back attack and critical hit damage on Twister. But if I were to use that on backflow, which is something I would traditionally use before, it would be 7 seconds on that skill. But besides for that, you can put whatever you want on anything. So this is a setup that I would use for something like Hex or the Lantern Thornwood spot that I've been grinding recently. This is a setup I'd use for those endgame grind spots. Now, as you can see here, I have pretty much my core damage stuff on these two skills, Crosscut and Twister. These are our spammable skills, which have no cooldown. You can use them off CD, and you're going to be able to maintain these buffs all the time, which is crazy. Twister basically comes out of every skill in the Awake Musa kit, so you can weave it in and out of anything between stuff, and it's just going to be great to have whatever buffs you want to put on there. So you could even put attack speed, monster damage on there, whatever you want. You can't really mess up add-ons for PvE. You have a lot of options, so it's more so just designing how you're going to use your skills and put whatever you want on it that fits your play style or your skill rotation. So just giving a quick example. So if I keep cross-cutting here, you'll see that these buffs constantly refresh to 7 seconds every time I use it. So just like add-ons would before, right? But just being able to weave like a Twister in and just have a T3 add-on with the crosscut every time, it's going to be crazy. It's going to feel really good. So yeah, great change. But this is what I'm using for PvE right now for those endgame grind spots. Okay, taking a look here at something I would use for uncapped or open world PvP on my Wake Musa right now. Keep in mind that I am playing DR Musa, so I'm not going to have any plus evasion add-ons. If you are playing Invasion Musa, you probably just, I don't know, change one line and put on the +5 evasion somewhere. So maybe on like Pyrostorm for trading and then put Axe somewhere else, or maybe drop human damage on one step back if you want to use a similar setup to what I'm using. This is just configure to the combo that I generally use or the skills I generally weave, and I'll kind of go over my thought process with each skill. So notice again, I'm not using Crust Crusher. Since we don't have to use Crust Crusher anymore, I'm never going to use it again for a T3 add-on. It's just a slow skill. It's just one of those forward guards that's slow that really is one of the only ways you can be caught on the Awake Musa kit, outside of all the super armors we have. So first skill at the top here I have is Mountain Divide. So this is our Magnus skill that I generally almost always use after the Storm Slasher Bomb skill. And I have kind of a disengage add-on on this. Most times I'm using it, it's for a finisher or at the end of a combo string, and then I don't know, most of the time I'm disengaging. So I have movement speed on this as well as a bleed. So if there's any targets that are left alive, they're going to be bleeding, and I'm going to be able to get out of the, engage a lot quicker because I'll be faster. Searing Slam and Dash Slash, nothing's really changed here. I have crit rate attack speed on these, and on Dash Slash I have the overloaded DP since it already has minus DP on it, with the critical rate as well. Since those are the openers, I want those to have crit or attack speed on them or minus DP because that's what I'm opening my combo with. Pyro Storm, that is our main trade skill, so that's probably one of the first super armors you're going to weave after your initial CC. So now that this has 20 DP on it, I just put the 20 DP add-on on there. I'm going to try it out. I don't see a reason not to run that in uncapped PvP. Stuff like Archer kills you in like one hit and shit, so maybe that'll protect me, cope. But I have 5 accuracy on this as well. On my one step back here, I have all evasion rate minus 5%. And I have plus 15 human damage. This one is probably the one add-on that I would change to something else. I don't know. You can run some other stuff, but I just put that on there just to get more stats. There's really no reason to take like crit or minus DP again somewhere. So mid combo, if I can put minus 5 evasion on my target and then get some more human damage too, that works out. Backflow here, I have the down attack and crit damage still, nothing changing there. That's what I use almost always after Pyrostorm, so that the beginning of my combo, I have, all the debuffs applied to my target, and I have almost all the self buffs applied to myself, so that I'm doing the maximum damage output in that combo. Lastly here, we have a setup that I plan on using in Capped Node Wars and Siege. Now, Capped in terms of T4 and Capped Siege, whatever region it may be, this is what I would use. The guild that I am in currently does not participate in like T3 Capped or the T1 cap stuff. So these add-ons probably wouldn't apply to those lower caps. Most of it will translate over though. Just the only thing you probably don't want to run would be this minus 20 DP. Now the reason I run this minus 20 DP is because a lot of people, surprisingly enough, actually don't hit the DP caps for the new T4 cap and sometimes even the Siege cap. So I do run that minus 20 DP for some people that have just bad builds or not a lot of gear. Sometimes it comes through and helps. And there's no reason not to run it because you kind of run out of things to run anyways, because you kind of have to overstack things. A lot of buffs don't actually apply in capped, like AP and human damage and all that, unless you're under the cap, that is. So this is generally what I use. Not too different from my uncapped as far as like thinking goes. Mountain Divide, I have the same add-on just for the disengage, how I use the skill as I talked about before. Searing Slam is the same. My Dash Slash is the same. My Pyro Storm, I don't have plus 20 DP because it doesn't do anything for me personally with the buffs and the gear that I have. So I run a plus 5% evasion because there's not a percent evasion cap, I think, or if there is, I think it's quite high. Let me look at a node. I think we fought like here the other day, T4. Yeah, so here there is, where is it at here? My evasion rate limit, none, so I can run percentile evasion. And I also run a minus evasion for the same reason, because some targets, getting rid of evasion on people is going to be a good thing so that I have more accuracy against them. And nothing else here is changed, I believe. I have a debuff on one step back for attack cast speed, just because I might as well. I don't really have anything else to run. I have a bleed elsewhere on the Mountain Divide, so this is what I use on Cap. Nothing too crazy here. Once again, add-ons are just preference. Now that you can put T3 on anything you want, just go crazy with it. Just experiment with things and don't feel like you have to run like what I am or what everyone else is running. Use what works for you. But I hope this quick little video was a good update for you guys, and good luck on Musa.